Hi there. Welcome to Lincoln Table, you naughty little imps.
You see my drink on there?
Yeah, just it comes in and out.
I'll hold your bottle up. All right. Cheers, Matt. All the best.
Cheers, all the best. We're on a lockdown special.
We are locked down. So,
hey, didn't we promise everyone on YouTube that we was going to have fancy fucking graphics and that in the background?
yeah, then we've come good.
We pulled it off, mate.
Good. Brilliant.
We pulled it off. The two most computer illiterate people there is.
Oh, mate, it was just painful. It was painful watching myself. Put
Yes,
that background on. Really painful. Edit that out.
This might get dangerous because we can drink here, can't we? We're a bit more anyway.
Shouted. I love you.
We're supposed to be in the studio, Mark. We're not at home.
Oh no.
We're in the lockdown studio.
I had some good feedback today, Matt.
Yeah.
You know that video we did on the social dilemma?
Yeah.
When we were reviewing it and talking about it.
Yeah.
Due to a lad who I work with was watching that podcast that we did, and it's made him think twice about how he uses his phone, and he stayed off of it quite a bit.
You know what I've done since I watched it, and I've actually watched Joe Rogan's podcast with that Tristan, who did the program. I've watched that as well. Guess what I've done since I've watched them all? Nothing. Exactly the same.
In fact,
I help myself.
I've got worse.
I think
I've got worse.
It's because we're YouTube stars now, Mark. That's the problem.
We're checking the reviews. What reviews? The numbers, views.
Yeah. Our thousands of views that we're getting every week.
And then I'm watching YouTube a lot on my phone because I'm looking for inspiration as well.
Yeah, well.
But
I was gonna start with a bit of a rant about this, which we kind of knew we spoke about already, haven't we? Obviously, we're in lockdown again. There's a lot of talk about a vaccine. There's a lot of mixed messages about it as well, because our news is saying different to another news channel. Australia aren't letting vulnerable people have it, are they?
No,
because I don't think it's safe enough yet. And then just the attitude, I think that the media is taking on it. Like, I don't know, you try and stay away from mainstream media. I like it just because it pisses me off. I like something to be pissed off about. But there was, I was watching Good Morning Britain this morning, and they were just basically saying, it's got that feel of being mandated. The big question of the morning was, should it be mandatory, having this vaccine?
it's going to end up being mandatory, Matt.
Yeah,
it is.
You know what? Like, I'll put it out there. I'll put my personal opinion. I think that's absolute bullshit. I don't think that it's such a big decision to put a vaccine into your body. Like, it should be your own choice. Like, it's my choice if I want. If it was something a lot more serious, I'd understand it. It is serious. People are getting ill. People are dying. Like, I'm not taking that away from anyone. We've known people ourselves who've got it and probably got ill. What I'm saying is there's a 99 point whatever % survival rate from this virus. I'm happy to take my chances with that. You know what I mean? Without putting anything into my body. I've had vaccines for other things, and I don't want it.
No, I agree, mate. I don't. I'm a little bit on the same wavelength as you, mate, regarding that.
And I'm sure there's going to be a big.
I understand them doing it to the vulnerable, people with underlying health issues and the elderly, which it should be, like the flu jab is, they're entitled to have a flu jab.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the flu's killing people every year. We don't have to have a flu jab, do we?
No, we don't. Do we know what this vaccine's called? Is there a
no.
A technical name for it?
The miracle.
Destroyer.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say, because I think that's my opinion on it. I think you know, people can misconstrue what you're saying. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm an anti-vaxxer. I'm not. I don't want a vaccine that's forced on me. If I feel like if I feel like I need it, or, you know, it's my choice.
Yeah.
If I feel like I'm at work now. I've been at work for the year when the virus has been alleged worse. You know, I've been out. I've not changed anything in my life. You know,
No.
if it was that bad, I would never have been out there in the first place, would I? You know, I'm not an at-risk person, so I don't need a mandatory vaccine.
No.
You know?
I obviously with our jobs, with what we do, I've been in all sorts of circles recently, and I've come across with people that have been diagnosed with it, had the test and things, and obviously they've had the symptoms.
The test.
The test, yeah. But I've never known, out of all these people that have had it done, haven't come down with anything. It hasn't knocked them for six.
No.
Anything like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do get that. I mean, I was talking to a guy, he works in the emergency services.
Yeah.
Basically for the Coast Guard, the pilot, and he was telling me they had a case where a guy, they had to go offshore and rescue a guy off a ship. He had it, but unfortunately this guy passed on as soon as he got back onto land.
Yeah, but we've been the first to say we don't deny that people are getting ill and people are dying from it. We're not denying that.
No, I get that, mate. But that's only a small percentage that of all the people that I've talked to over that is a very, very small percent.
Yeah.
And you look how big the population is, mate.
And I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry, as hard as it sounds, death happens. You know, you can't be scared of death. It happens.
Yeah.
You know? And if you can prevent a few cases from a vaccine, then great. But that's the people know they're at risk, don't they?
They do, mate. We're all at risk. Mate, we're at risk with what we do every day. We can walk out the front of our house and get hit by a car.
Exactly.
It's at risk. If we start wrapping ourselves up in cotton wool, what's the point in doing anything, mate?
You just can't live, can you?
Yeah.
It's just I'm a bit concerned of what like other countries and that are going to say. You know, you're not coming here if you don't have the vaccine or whatever. But Mark, I've got a caravan, so fuck the other country.
Right. Yeah. See in this country, mate.
Yeah, I'll tell you, mate. It's just like a few things. Obviously, we're pretty privileged in our way of our life. Like, we're still working, we can still go out. Like, you know, still eating good food, still getting takeaways, getting paid. Like, we're doing all right. But there's a few things I'm missing. Like, don't go to a massive amount of like events or go out in town even. But I'd love to go to a gig. I'd love to do something right now. You know what I mean?
Mate, I've missed that. I've missed like obviously gigs. You know, go and see stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
Basically going to like sort of festivals. You know, like obviously I'm a big B-Dub fan, and going to them and all that.
And Bob Marley, you've missed him, haven't you, over this lockdown?
Who's that?
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, say, mate, I had a bit of a shock, mate. I think I need to cut down on the old digestive, mate, because I put this on tonight. I haven't worn it for years, and I thought this wasn't tight when I tried it on in Jamaica.
Smaller tops, bigger guns, Mark. That's what they say.
I don't know. I think mine's are the Gravity Moves variety, mate.
It's all good, mate. It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm massively. Me and Jagger, who was on a podcast the other week. Yeah. I told you before. I'm sure I've told you before. We went to a Slipknot gig in I think it was January. Sure, it was January, February. I don't know. Can't remember when it was now. This year, anyway. And it was just fucking wild, mate. You know, all the people sweating your face. You know, it's just like I'll come back, I've bruises everywhere. I was in a mosh pit for like a couple of hours solid. Like, not caring about anything. You know what I mean? Anybody could have had anything. They could have had any germs, anything. But you just don't care, do you? It's life. You live life. You enjoy it. Every day, even getting drunk at these gigs is a big enough risk. You know how many people die from bloody drinking, but you take the risk, don't you?
Yeah. I bet that was dope, mate. I'm using an American slang there. It's dope.
I'm not using that word ever again. I'm not going to let you say that word ever again. It was sick, man.
I've been watching too much Cobra Kai. That's it. That's where they got it from. It's dope,
It's
mate.
dope. Yeah, mate, it was fantastic. Like, it was just 2 hours of just basically fighting. Really, it was just in a mosh pit for 2 hours, sweating and fighting. Great atmosphere, and I miss it. Like,
was you wearing lots of beer?
Oh yeah.
Do you know my biggest concern, mate, about concerts is when you go there. Obviously, you're obviously in the middle of it in the pit.
Yeah.
And nobody can be asked to go to the toilet, so they end up urinating in the old bins, don't they? And it's like,
then one hits you on the back.
Like, who's the unlucky son who's that's
that's all part of the fun, though, isn't it?
It goes on.
It's all part of the fun, mate, isn't it? When you get it with a pint of piss. That's another one. Who are you going to do? Start on someone.
When it's been launched, you can't tell the difference because lager and piss looks exactly the same. So,
fantastic.
How hydrated you are, but
or lemon. I'll have a bit of that. There you go. Just one of them. I'll tell you what, some of the best gigs. Like, I'm sure people from different cities, probably different countries, have all got gigs, but all got venues like the Engine Shed. We have the Engine Shed in Lincoln, don't we?
We do.
If that stays open, well, it's a uni, so I'm sure it will. But
I'll stay open.
I've been to some fantastic gigs in there. You know, like when bands are coming up and they're just coming out before they start like a big tour, do the little warm up gigs, won't they? They're literally some of the best gigs you can go to. I've watched some indie bands. We watched. Do you know the Enemy? Who the Enemy are?
Yes, I've seen them, mate. I saw them years ago supporting the Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah, I actually went to watch them about 3 times because the first time it was fantastic. That was at the Engine Shed, and that was one of them gigs, mate, where you didn't know what was hitting you in the back of the head. Could have been piss, could have been beer, it could have been someone's dick. You don't know. It was one of them gigs, you know.
I'd be a bit worried if somebody stick it in the back of the head. Like, who's that loaded?
I was rolling it, Mark.
Unless they just launched somebody, unless it was crowd surfing.
Joking.
I want to beat that guy who's got one.
Well, that's his party piece, though, wasn't it? The old helicopter.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Another one.
I've seen the Happy Mondays at the Engine Shed. Fantastic.
Was it? Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And they've just started their own podcast, haven't they? Bez and Sean Ryder.
That's pretty good. Like, I've got some good stories.
The other week, Call the Cops with Bez and Sean.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't see it. No.
Look, mate, it's they just shit like what we do.
Talk shit.
Yeah. Well, we don't talk shit, do we?
No, we talk to the point.
Definitely.
But yeah, like, the Engine Shed. I've seen. You know the Pigeon Detectives. Seen the Pigeon Detectives?
I haven't, mate. No.
They're like an indie band. They came up. I don't know what they're doing now. I don't know if they're doing anything, but they came up. They had a good few years and kind of disappeared for a bit. But they were pretty wild, wild. What festivals have you been to?
What festivals? The Kaiser Chiefs did one years ago at Ellen Road. I've never ever been to like the V or anything like that.
Me neither. No.
I'd love to.
We'll have to get our caravans together one day, mate, and get down there.
Definitely.
I almost went to Download last year, but I don't know what was happening. So, I had a baby. That was it. Pretty big news.
Big.
Little hurdle. Yeah, I had a baby. That's why I couldn't go. But it was in the mist that I was ready to go.
Yourself?
Say again? You
had a baby yourself?
Well, we basically do, don't we? They just push them out.
Just the way you said that, I was like, first month, son, give them birth.
We do all the hard work, don't they? Just really push them out.
Yeah. But they have it the hardest, mate, though.
Easy for the women, isn't it?
Oh, mate, you're gonna get us.
Oh, a lynch mob.
We're gonna have some abuse on the comments.
I'm drinking Henry Weston's. It's got,
You had.
it's got a picture of an old English fellow on the front. I feel like that's the sort of thing he'd say. I'm channeling Henry Weston here.
When I'm looking at you on the screen, it like keeps disappearing. The link, it's like an invisible bottle of cider.
It's amazing because I could be drinking out.
Stick that in invisible bottles of beer. Yeah,
I don't drink. Look, I don't drink in the weekday. I love these graphics, Mark. It's great.
They are great. Hey, you know what? We're on number 10 now. Said we would, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We just need to get the red hours flying, mate, and a few lights on Lincoln Cathedral and the imp dancing in the middle.
Yeah, give us a bit of time, though.
Yeah.
Come on. We're just about learning how to log on.
Hey, mate, I still don't know how to do it. Oh,
it's embarrassing, Mark. You should be embarrassed with yourself. It's 2020.
I was talking to a lad at work the other day, and they were talking about the new. Is it PlayStation 5 that's coming out? And
No.
I said, "Oh, I'm not interested in video games." And they went, "God, that's really old. That's the sort of thing my dad would say." Oh,
what video games?
games. Oh dear.
Yeah, you definitely sounded it on this one, Mark.
What's it call them? What's the correct terminology for him now? Is it?
I don't know myself. I wouldn't like to get involved.
Is gaming? Is that the?
Just a game, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was talking about gigs, weren't we? What's your
Manic Miner and School Days? Great games.
What was that?
Manic Miner and School Days.
Manic Miner. I'll tell you one game. I was talking to some lads the other day about it. Was for the Sega Mega Drive. I think it was the Sega. I used to play this game. Michael Jackson had a game, and it was as fucking weird as it sounds. Like Michael Jackson, he does like hee hee, like kicks his foot, hee hee, and he used to like jump on desks, do his spinning, kick his foot out, and like used to like go through the levels, fighting people off in the streets. You'd have to Google it. It was a cracking game. Yeah. Hey, what's probably one of your best gigs you've been to? I know you haven't been to festivals. I ain't been to any big festivals. I went to Radio 1 weekend in Hull. I went to that one.
To be fair, mate, I like the smaller venues.
Yeah, I think I do as well.
Because they're a bit more up close and personal. I like the Stranglers. I went to see them at the Engine Shed about 12 years ago, and they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I mean, I'm a big U2 fan. I went to see them in Paris, mate, and I went all that way to go and watch them on a video screen, even though like I was in the arena.
Yeah.
They were just like dots on the stage, mate, and that was slightly. It was nice to be in the environment, and I went just after. I think it was the 20th anniversary where they did the Live 8.
Even with a load of French people around you?
I think it was more British there, mate. Because everybody I spoke to were all, all from England or the UK, and they.
Mate, I'm from town. Where are you from? Oh, town.
Yeah.
Town.
But yeah, so that
was good atmosphere. Sometimes it is just about the atmosphere, isn't it?
It is. The atmosphere was good. I can relate to that one. One of the best. Now, do not laugh, mate. Do not take the piss. I went with my sister years ago because she's a big fan, and I've actually seen Neil Diamond live.
I don't even know who Neil Diamond is. You old fart.
Neil Diamond wrote Daydream Believer for the Monkees.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he's brilliant. And he also wrote Red Red Wine. UB40 did a cover of it.
Yeah.
That's his song.
All right, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I'd I'd heard of him, but I'd never heard any of his music. And my sister's husband was in the army at the time, and he was away on a training exercise. And she invited me over. She said, "Look, I've got nobody to go with to his concert. Do you fancy going?" And I says, "Who is it?" Neil Diamond. And I was like, "Well, I was getting a freebie concert and a freebie weekend in London there anyway, so I thought, well, sod it, I'll go."
I've been to 2 weird gigs actually. I went to watch Blue at a Top of the Pops event at Whitewater Valley.
Oh mate, I tell you what, I can go one better than that, and you'll probably. And I got launched out of this concert for shouting abuse at him. Have you ever heard of Let Loose? I'm not going to sing, mate, on this podcast because it's all.
Give us a lyric.
I'm crazy, crazy for you. You must know that.
Stick the plumbing.
Let me play. I want no.
Yeah, no.
Just let Loose. You'll have to Google Let Loose.
I will Google it. Yeah.
They had that was their signature single that launched them, and they had a few after that.
Yeah.
But then it just disappeared. But I went to see. You could tell, mate, that the heart wasn't in it. It was at Skegness Festival Pavilion, and their heart was not in it. You could tell they more or less said on stage they're about to be dropped by the record company. All I kept shouting was, "I'm not fucking surprised. You're rubbish." I mean, I was drunk when I got there, and I ended up getting removed by the bouncers just for shouting and just being a bit of a dick. As I was being escorted out, the bouncer turned around to me and he says, "I agree with you, they are shit." No. Yeah.
Yeah, well, ours, we was only kids to be fair, so I've got an excuse when we watched Blue. It was at a top of the Pops event, but to be fair, with it being Top of the Pops, at least it was Blue and not Jimmy Savile. It could have been a completely different weekend, couldn't it? Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah,
but we.
To be fair, I was probably about 23 when I saw them Let Loose. So, but I was drunk, mate. I was drunk, and somebody had a ticket, and I said I just went for the crack for a night out. So,
do you know who The Feeling are?
Yes.
Yeah, we once me and my best mate at the time and his brother. He had an older brother who lives in London, lives in central or North London or something. He's gay, like lived with a boyfriend at the time. And I didn't really know who The Feeling were. And he just said, look, like, was going up to see his brother anyway. We drove up to London to see him. And he said, "Do you want to go watch The Feeling?" And we were just like, "It's a free gig, why not?" We just got levered. It was great. Like, we got levered in his flat, and then we got a taxi down to Trafalgar Square. And I think it was Trafalgar Square. I'm sure they do gigs somewhere around there. Anyway, we went into this thing, went into the back and got a drink and that, just stood around waiting for the band to come on. But we didn't realise that The Feeling are a gay band, aren't they? Not that that makes any difference, but all the singers, I think at least a couple.
Feeling.
Yeah. But a couple of the singers anyway.
Trolled out, mate, for me making that comment.
but it turns out the whole gig was just like we were basically just at a gay club, really. It's just like me and my mate, I think we're the only ones in there that weren't gay. Turns out it was a fucking cracking night. But yeah, it was a bit out of depth, to be fair. There's been a couple of times like that where I've just agreed to go to a gig and that not really been into it, but it was a cracking night. That was one of them, to be fair.
That's always the best way, mate. Like I said, going back to Neil Diamond, I heard of him, never heard of his music, and it was cracking. And that's what it's about. It's just getting out there and then you start appreciating these artists. When you actually see them performing live on the stage, I think that's when you appreciate them more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is what I mentioned. I mentioned these lads in our last podcast. They're called The Lids from Leicester, and they're up and coming. They was on BBC Radio Introducing, so they were getting recognised, pushing. They were pushing hard, grafting hard. Like a really good band. You can find them on YouTube, find them on Spotify, Apple Music, and that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if you Google them, they'll have some sort of website to get in contact with them. But they've had to take time out. You know, they've all got jobs anyway. I met the lad on the building site, so they've all got jobs, but they graft. You know, even harder because they work normal jobs.
Yeah.
But just what a shit time, you know what I mean? What a shit time. It's all right for these big musicians who've got a platform that they can go and, you know, they can still get paid because they're famous. You know what I mean? But think about all these little bands that it's a cutthroat world anyway, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Oh, it's definitely, mate. They can soon drop you like that.
Especially for bands, mate. Bands come and go, mate. Come and go, don't they?
Talking of bands, one band that, I mean, they came out just over 10 years ago was a band called LaRue.
Yeah, I know what you mean, LaRue, yeah.
Yeah.
Female singer.
The Kill and Bulletproof, the two
Yeah,
songs.
yeah.
They were a cracking band. I thought these are going to go a long way. And they're very they were influenced by 80s music. And then they just disappeared off into obscurity because Radio 1 for some reason, wouldn't promote their music. And it's all these musicians depend on Radio 1, and it shouldn't be like that. And then
that's the thing, mate. That's the BBC. They do that with everything, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, they did it with Dizzy Rascal. It's a completely different. You know, I've seen Dizzy Rascal live. It's a completely different genre. You might not like him yourself, but
I don't mind, mate.
But he was outspoken. He was outspoken about the BBC. He mentioned this sort of stuff. He mentioned the fact how, you know, how cutthroat they are, and a lot of people's careers depend on them. And what they did just fucked him off. That's it. Couldn't go to any. He didn't get on any of his on their playlists. You know, they completely got rid of him. Tried to shut him out, but luckily there's been, you know, a lot more, like, especially with digital radio, there's a lot more different stations that are quite big, aren't they? You know, look at Radio X they just play rock music, don't they? Indie rock and rock.
Well, they play a lot of stuff from the 90s, you know, like Oasis, The Verve, that sort of. Because a lot of the DJs on there, mate, that was their sort of generation of music as well.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. A lot of their generation, and that's kind of sort of my generation. You're back. Have you gone to the beach?
Huh? No. Look.
The invisible cider.
No, anything. Nothing. Yeah, it's talking about it. Have you seen Oasis before?
I haven't, mate. I had an opportunity
like Oasis?
to see him. I love Oasis.
I went to watch Oasis on the last gig. It's when Kasabian were coming up and they were supporting them.
Yeah. Well, that's when they fell out, wasn't it?
Yeah, just before. Yeah, it was their last gig pretty much, and it was in Manchester as well. That was something else. It was outside. It was in what's the big park in Manchester called?
Oh,
not Hyde Park, is it?
Was it in the stadium, the football stadium?
No, he's outside in the park, big massive park.
I don't know, mate. Not a clue.
I can't remember. People will know listening, I'm sure, but people will know watching this. But that was a fucking cracking gig. They had something went off, the power went off. Apparently it was for ages, but everyone was at 11. No one really. And Oasis offered everyone at the end of it because they said it was a bit of a shambles, like, but it wasn't. It was ace, amazing. And I went with about 5 or 6 lads, and it was just, you know, just one of them days. Like, even if the music was crap, it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, they put a lot into it as well. It was their last gig, and oh, mate, this is what I'm missing. You know, this is what I was just saying to you. This is what I'm missing. Just even one a year. You know what I mean?
It's that blowout, isn't it? You go and see an artist you appreciate and the music that you resonate with.
Yeah.
And you go in there, you just let off steam, you have a good time, and all you have is these fun memories of this concert and stories, and that's it. And it's all just take.
Hey, listen to this, right? I went to an Arctic Monkey gig. I'll tell you the story. Actually, we went in. It was in Sheffield, and before the gig, I was. There was loads of people. I can't remember where it was now in Sheffield, one of the big arenas. And to get in there, everybody was queuing up, right? So there's a big queue, and it was all like grass, and then there was queuing to go through, like, you know, the fences that are staggered, like the staggered fences.
Yeah.
And they're only like waist height, and everyone was just waiting to squeeze through this thing, and there was a massive like gap big grass verge, a fence, and a gap. You know what I mean? And obviously me being a stupid fucking kid, I was like, why is no one jumping the fence? It's easy though. This is like waist height. Just jump over it. Done. So like I went past about 300 people, bearing in mind like 300 people in one compact little area outside, and I climbed up the fence like a clever wanker, and obviously realizing when I was on top of it why nobody was jumping over it, because I already committed to it. I jumped over this fence and there was just like a 6-foot patch of just wet sludge mud, and I landed. Boom, fell straight on my arse. And I was wearing a white top and jeans and everything, mate. And my arm, and I was just covered from head to toe. I was so pissed off. I wanted to go home. You know, I was just covered in it. I was soaking wet. I was like, I've got to spend 2 hours in a gig. You know what I mean? Inside.
Yeah.
So all the lads were like, oh, we could go to Meadowhall quick. We could go to Meadowhall. So we like rushed into Meadowhall. Everything was shutting at the time, just shutting. I managed to like grab another pair of trousers and a t-shirt, just some cheap t-shirt, because I physically couldn't wear the clothes I was inside. Anyway, so when we got into the gig, I was pretty pissed off. I was in a shit mood, you know, like trying to warm up to the Arctic Monkeys that I'd waited my whole life to go and see, but they'd had that hiatus, hadn't they, and come back and turn shit. You know what I mean? So I was in the right mood at the time. Anyway, so because I was like not with all the lads in the front, right in the midst of it all, I was like kind of at the back. I just got chatting to this couple, and they had like a thick, like Barnsley accent. And I was just like, just randomly, they was the ones that gravitated to me, and I gravitated to them, and was just chatting away in that. And it turns out that they were like my second cousins from Barnsley. Yeah, from Barnsley. They knew my mum. They had my mum on social media and that. You know what I mean? So they knew it, and we got chatting. I was like, you know, I'm fucking mind blown. You know, they're really close to my family. I didn't even know them. This was out of, you know, how many people are in an arena? 10,000 people. You know, an Arctic Monkey gig. And this, you know, it was, where else in life would you get that sort of situation?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Obviously, from that, it was just great. I just stayed with them all that then, and we had a right laugh.
Do you hear from them now, Matt? Or
never spoke to them again. Never spoke. I probably got them on Facebook or something, but I never really spoke again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just
one of the funniest things I saw when I went to see the Kaiser Chiefs, because that was like it was at Leeds at Ellen Road Stadium. Yeah. And that was like their homecoming. Sort of, they just finished the UK tour, and it was their last gig there. And they had a lot of supporting acts. They had Chris Moyles kept coming on and introducing them. He was there for the whole time and introducing the other acts.
Yeah,
it was Mark Ronson, Kate Nash. There was the Enemy, who were amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
There was a band called Young Knives. I think they just drifted off into obscurity.
Mm.
And obviously the Kaiser Chiefs. And I'm trying to think, there was another band there, mate. But Mark Ronson, he did a set which was amazing.
Yeah, I've never seen Mark Ronson. No.
Yeah, he's very, very good, mate. He's a very talented guy. You can see why a lot of artists want to work with him.
Yeah.
And, when we were there, what was quite funny, we were in the seating area, and obviously they were just opening up the field and it hadn't quite got full yet, because obviously they were just playing background music, and there was a gang of lads on the field, and all of a sudden they started scrapping. Right, then there was cameras pointed everywhere, and they had a big screen on in the field, and the cameras panned on these lads, and it brought them up on the big screen.
Yeah.
They saw themselves on the screen and realised they'd just been knocking 7 bells out of each other, and they started dancing because they'd been and dancing with each other. And I'm like, well, you fuckers have just been fighting. Just like switch from, and it was just like, we've been caught. Shit, and honestly, mate, they were landing blows.
Was it like this, Mark? Was it like this?
Yes.
I told you we'd have effects, mate. Look at us go. YouTube's not going to know what's hit him, are they?
No, not at all, mate.
They've never seen computer wizards like us.
Not at all, mate.
Here's Mark. Look, Mark's now looking.
I'm on it now, mate.
15 minutes looking for it.
There we go.
There we are.
I've done it. I've managed it without.
Just got to imagine some mega rock band on now.
I know. Well, when you sent me that, I thought it was from your Slipknot.
I was just happy thought it was from Slipknot. I don't know what it is.
To be honest, mate, I have heard of Slipknot, but I haven't a clue.
Yeah, you'll definitely hear him, mate.
I'm sure I was.
Not everybody's cup of tea, I must admit.
But
yeah, I tell you, this reminds me actually. Talking about rock and that. Did you? I saw. I think it was. I don't know where I saw. I saw it on YouTube, but it was on GMTV. It was on Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan.
I actually just sorry to interrupt you, mate.
Yeah.
I wish I had a guitar. I could feel like I'm in the moment.
Upstairs, I could have knocked you a tune out and all. Yeah. Did you watch? Did you see Johnny Rotten on Good Morning Britain?
Mate, yes.
Fantastic.
Now, I'm a big Sex Pistols fan, mate, and that guy is an absolute legend. And if you go on YouTube, and I've shown a few people this video, it's because of them that they have that delay. You know, when they're swearing on the TV,
yeah.
They have that delay now where they can beep it out.
Yeah.
Because of them, they were. I can't remember the name. It's before my time, mate. I won't remember. It was only about 3 or 4 at the time, and they got him on this show. Bearing in mind, it was like a bit like the One Show type thing, and they got him on. It was on like about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, and they plied him with alcohol. Just got him there. They kept him, and the presenter, he was pissed as well. Just asked
the old 80s like
questions, and mate, you ought to hear some of the stuff they come out. They just like. This guy,
yeah.
I'll send you the link to it, mate. After we've done this, you've got to watch it. It's so funny. But Johnny Rotten, mate, he is.
Well, I just thought, mate, because some guy, he's just like, for a common bloke, you know, he's really, really well elocuted. You know what I mean? He elocutes his words so well. And, you know, especially Good Morning Britain, I feel like, you know, this is a big thing at the minute as well on everywhere. Every fucking news station is the US elections, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I feel like the mainstream media, especially Good Morning Britain, if you've got any sort of sway towards Trump, you know, you're just an idiot. You know what I mean? That's what you made out to be, an idiot. Yeah. And he came on because he voted for Trump. So they got him on to basically ridicule him, didn't they? So like Susanna Reid started ridiculing him, and he just fucking went. He was great, and he just everything he said was like they couldn't even argue with him because it was like
can't argue with him, mate.
You can't argue with him because he's right. You know what I mean? You don't have to be. Why has everybody got to be a Trump? And why? What I don't like is what the mainstream media.
Farage on at the same time, and he
just like, after, yeah.
Nigel Farage, you know.
He wasn't that great though, Nigel Farage. He didn't handle it very well, did he?
See that bit.
Yeah, he didn't handle it very well.
I saw the clip on YouTube, and I thought I love Johnny Rotten because I actually watch a lot of interviews with him, and that came up on, and I thought, do you know what? And when he's telling Susanna Reid, "Shut up, let me speak."
Yeah, I will not stop talking.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
That's the thing, mate. Them two on that show just talk over everybody and don't get a chance to get their point of view. I mean, Piers Morgan, you know, I actually
so much respect for that bloke, massively.
Yeah, and now
you know what, like Nigel Farage didn't handle himself very well. Well, he didn't handle himself well at all, but he was right what he was saying about Piers Morgan. You know, he's just jumping onto one thing. Like it was like a childish interview, and he always moans, Piers Morgan, about not getting any government officials, any ministers on. to talk about the COVID update. But okay, they should come on because they've got an obligatory right. You know, they're working for us. They should be on there explaining to us what's going on. But I also don't blame him because Piers Morgan, he just fucking he sticks to one thing and just goes at them like kids. Do you know what I mean? It's like childish arguments. Do you know what I mean?
But they don't give him a chance. I mean, I've seen no interviews where they've had politicians on.
Yeah.
And they're asking questions, like he's asking them questions, and he won't even let them answer.
No. And obviously, you know what politicians are like. They're like snakes, aren't they? They can slither around any question. So you have got to be on them, but you can do it intellectually. You know what I mean? You don't have to be so gun-ho about it and
well, they never answer, do they?
No. So yeah, and Johnny Rotten came on, and what it highlighted for me was what I've always said anyway, is what these left-wing, like liberal, absolute ludicrous, it just winds me up. These people are saying they're basically everybody who's a Trump supporter is a moron.
You forgot to use Guardian reading and Daily Mail. Is it Guardian reading?
Yeah, I don't like to tar everyone with the same bush because you might be a nice person and read the Guardian. You never know. Mate, I've read the Star at one time in my life, so I can't say anything.
What's wrong with the Star?
Well, I'll say I read it. I mean, I looked at it.
Yeah, that's about it. Mind you, there's nothing worth looking at in them anymore because of the.
That's the difference. Everything in the Star's true, and the Sun. Everything in the Star and the Sun's true. You see. But yeah, they just make out that everybody who supports Trump, it doesn't have to be Trump. It's just his policies and the things he's setting out are morons. They're idiots. You know, this is what they're making out in the mainstream media. But there's half of the USA. Nearly half. That's half of the United States of America have voted for him.
Didn't he have so many million more voters than last time?
Last time, he's almost broke records with it. So how can you call half of your own country morons?
Yeah,
it's just people who are fed up with it. This is exactly what Johnny Rotten was saying. They're fed up with left-wing liberal agendas. They don't want this shit anymore. They're fed up with it.
Well, that's exactly the same with Brexit. People who voted out were idiots.
Yeah,
they were racist, bigoted.
Exactly.
It's
because we want to change. We want to change from the norm because the system that we've got at the moment isn't working. So people vote for something different. You know.
Yeah.
And you can't tarnish people like that.
It's let everybody down, mate. The system's all wrong, and it's and everybody's got the right to the vote. Everybody's got the right to opinion, whether people like that opinion or not. Everybody's still entitled to it, and we've said this before.
Exactly. And I tell you what, if you lose your vote or if you lose your political party, you still got to stand with your country, and you've got to get behind it, and you've got to get behind policies, and you've got to make things work for each other.
Yeah.
You know, look how many times do you go to work, or have you been to work in the past and gone, this shit is just not working? But you're not just going to go completely against it and not do what you're told to do, are you?
No,
you do it. You get on with it. You get on with it, and you make the best out of what you've got.
You just have to say, right, I'm here now. I've got to do this.
I'll make it work. You know what I mean,
and that's how we adapt, we overcome, mate, and that's the way it should be. You know, it's and if it does get to that point, you do something about it and change.
Yeah.
I
just want all this shit back, mate. I want our festivals back. I want our music back. I want our culture back. I want just our friends and family back. This is what I'm after. You know what I mean? I don't want it on the expense of anyone's lives. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I just want it all back. Mm-hmm. And I want it the best way forward. I don't think, you know, people could do the research. These lockdowns and spending your life away from your parents and your family and everything else that means stuff to you in your life. Just it's not worth the potential risk of maybe getting ill. You know what I mean? Like people are going to argue. Like this happens on Facebook all the time. I share a lot of things. You know, I just share things sometimes just because it's opposing the norm. You know, I just sometimes post it because of that. But a lot of people pipe up and say, "Well, I know somebody that's ill, that's got ill, or I know somebody that's died." Like I'm not taking that away from anybody.
No, you're not, mate. Nobody is.
No, I'm not. I'm not stupid. I'm not thick. I don't. You know, I just want it. I just genuinely feel everything that's been put in place is overweighing that.
Yeah.
You know, I think the lack of anything, just like it's human nature to be doing what we've just been talking about, to having laughs with your friends and your families and other people, just random people you never met before.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
you look at the younger generation. I mean, they're losing that social interaction.
Yeah.
Like now, and how that is, you know, mentally affecting them at the moment isn't good.
No,
You
not at all.
know, and younger generation needs that. I like going to concerts, mate. You know, going to a festival. That's the sort of thing that you do when you're young, and we've had all that taken away. I mean, one of the things I miss, mate. I mean, you know what a big movie geek I am.
Yeah.
Going to the cinema, that was my.
Not even going to the cinema, just watching a decent film. We tried. Me and the missus have tried to watch a few films just recently. They're all shit because no one's making them.
How's that?
No.
Yeah, at the minute. So
They're shit.
we're just stuck with Vin Diesel and Fast and Furious.
Tell you what, mate, give it another 2 years of this. We'll be on this going, did you watch EastEnders last night? Did you see how there was social distancing on EastEnders?
Oh, fucking EastEnders.
but also on Coronation Street. We'll just be fucking cabbages, won't we, with no social life. It's got to change. Something's got to happen, mate.
I know. It's yeah.
If we can do a lockdown interactive on our computers, mate, me and you, the fucking government can sort this shit out. This was a bigger challenge than sorting COVID out.
Was a very big. This was stressful last night.
We ain't even got it out yet, Mark. We're fucking live now. It might be a fuck up.
I'm sure it'll be fine, mate. It's we got the old mate last night. It was a good job I had help.
Hey, let's swing it back before we sign out. Wait there. Let's get the right one up.
Oh, hang on. Hold on. I'll be with you in a minute.
That's the wrong way around, isn't it?
That's the right way around. I can see it. That's the right way around, mate.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's the right way around. I'll be with you in a minute, mate.
We've left the festival. We're back in the studio.
I have to pedal my computer to get it. It's old like.
What our viewers can't see is your missus is in the back of the office, pedaling on a fucking bike, trying to get the computer going.
Hang on, mate. I'll be with you in a minute. Oh, what's happened?
Oh no!
No.
You make sure you press. Hey! You make sure you press the right button. I can just imagine a picture of you with your schlong out in the background popping up. No, that's the wrong one. This is the wrong one.
I raised all them years ago.
Anyway, buddy, I reckon we'll call it. And there's our lockdown special. We've brought our viewers what they need.
We have.
Even in these hard times. You can't get more social distancing than 10 miles away, can you?
And we won't get trolled, mate, will we? For at least we've done it. We've done it by the book. So
yeah. We have mentioned Jimmy Savile and gays, and something might come back from it. I don't know.
Oh, dear. Do you know what I wrote? I wrote to Jimmy Savile when I was a kid, mate. I had a rather lucky escape, and I moaned like fuck years ago when he didn't reply. And when all this came to light, I was like, "Yeah, I've had a very lucky escape there, mate." I was like.
Oh, I can't remember some crude joke I heard. I can't even say it. I forgot I'm on YouTube. I can't say it, can I? Yeah.
Just before we sign out, you going back to the BBC, when I went on a cruise years ago,
yeah.
guy that was a TV producer. He was giving one of these after dinner speeches or whatever it was.
Cruises are you on?
What cruise?
What sort of cruises are you on, you high flyer?
Cruise and maritime, mate. See, I'll give them.
Ooh. Oh. I didn't know you were 76.
I've had an easy life, mate. Look.
Yeah,
It was polo as well, mate. It was very regal. Yeah, but no, there was this guy. He was a TV producer. He worked for ITV and spent quite a lot of time at the BBC. And when this Jimmy Savile stuff come to light, he says there will be a lot of people that he basically said how corrupt the BBC was.
Is.
Yeah, it is. And he said there was a lot of people at the time shitting themselves when that Jimmy Savile stuff come to light. It's basically got covered up, mate. I think everybody knows that anyway. It's but it seems funny how that's been just like swept under the carpet.
Yeah, he's not the only one from Top of the Pops, though, is he? That's fucking that's gone under.
No,
Pedo. That's another podcast, Mark. That's another podcast.
Today.
Fucking files. Anyway, yeah, we'll sign out, buddy.
Yeah, let's log out, mate. So, are you going to do it or am I?
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right, then, pal.
Later.
All right, then, mate. See you later.